Camera rolling.
And we're ready.
You ready?
All right. All right.
Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Better Mondays. Thanks for joining us today. My name is John Mitchell. I will be your fearless host, or at least I'll pretend I'm fearless throughout this thing. I got lots of exciting things to share with you. Fortunately, not just from me, but from my friends all over the accounting industry, all over anywhere where there's people who work for a living. That pretty much covers it, doesn't it? All over the place. People are putting in their time, they're doing their work, and our goal here at Better Mondays is just to give some practical thoughts, some practical ideas from real life humans doing work on a daily basis about how to make this more than just a job. The idea of Better Mondays is that, we give 30% of our life on average. Gallup polls and all of their research say that around 30% of our life will be working. Now just take that in for a minute. 30% of your life is working. All right, so then you got another 70% to do something, right? Well, here's the bad news. 25% of that 70% is thinking or worrying about, guess what? Working. So I'm not a math guy. I'm talking to a lot of accountants out there and a lot of people who probably are, but I know that's more than half of your life you're going to spend doing this thing. And you have a choice. You've known it since you were little. You've had a choice. I can take half of my life and choose to just make enough money to make the other half make sense. Or you've seen it. Maybe you've had a job like this. Maybe you have one now at times. Maybe you've never really had a job, but you've seen people who have, who feel like they're actually living and working at the same time. Like somehow they've figured out how to make the other 50% of their life more than a paycheck. So here's what we believe at Better Mondays. We believe that it's not magic. It's not luck. That people find this in their lives, and that there are practical ways of actually taking the time that you spend at work and adding it to your life instead of just using it as a way to get to the weekends. So here's what you can expect with Better Mondays. There's a whole bunch of stuff. You're going to hear stories. I'm a storyteller. In a lot of different ways. My background is in preaching. I no longer preach, but, at least I no longer preach in a church. Listen to this podcast, you may disagree with me, but I still have this passion for helping people get from where they are right now to something that they think they want to be, whether it's a different kind of life, a different kind of attitude, a different kind of way of seeing things, whatever it is, being able to help them and inspire them to practically think about ways of improving themselves. And so that's where my passion comes from, and I don't think that there's any better way to inspire people than with real life stories. So you're going to hear stories from my own life. You're going to hear stories from people out in work land. I don't know what else to call it, but you know what it feels like when you're driving on the way to work. When you're on your way to work in the morning and you pull up to a stoplight and you look to your left and there's somebody on their way to work looking like a zombie, and you look to the right and there's somebody on their way to work looking like a zombie, and you feel like, what are we all doing here? Well, we're doing something really specific. We're doing something that our forefathers did, and their forefathers did. We're maybe doing it in a different way, but if we're not careful, we just follow the herd. And part of what you're going to hear is people who feel like you do. And sometimes if you can't fix it, it's good just to know you're not alone. But then we're also going to come up with real practical ideas based on the stories that we hear, based on the ideas that we're getting from real life people working every day. We're going to take one good idea that helps them get some perspective on the relationship between their work and their life. And then I'm going to bring you one good resource, something that's already out there helping people, whether it's a website, whether it's a book, whatever it is. So you're going to hear a story from somebody, you're going to hear a practical idea from the way they deal with work in their life, and then you're going to hear one single tool, something you could use today. And here's the hope. that you will take this back into your own hands. If you're like me at times in my life, and I'm not there right now, but boy, there are times in my life where I have felt as though my life is just happening to me. Like someone else is actually pulling the strings in my life. And the choices that I made were a long time ago, and now other people make my choices, and I just follow my Google Calendar through the day. And really the goal of this podcast is to give you a deep breath. It's to give you an opportunity to stop for a minute, to take your choices back, to take 50% of your life back.